Hello there, thanks for joining us on another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Proverbs 22 verse 6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it." As we continue to celebrate our children all month long, let us pledge to protect and encourage them to always do the right thing. Today is also Teachers' Day, and we stand proud to salute all teachers for their hard work and dedication over the years. Don't go anywhere. We still have lots in store just for you, so please stay with us.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, May 8, 2024. The government will be undertaking a $1 billion program to transform the look, feel and functionality of selected health centers across the island. This will be done under the Operation Refresh program over the next 18 months. The first component will seek to transform citizens' perception or mindset and behavior towards these facilities. It is also geared at attracting greater turnout at health centers rather than bypassing them and going straight to hospitals. The announcement was made by Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, during his contribution to the 2024-2025 sectoral debate on Tuesday.
What this will include is improving or continuing to improve health centers that are not looking very good. We have 325 of them. We have done a lot of work on a lot of them. But we have now developed a model where we will standardize signage, standardize color codes, improve waiting areas, both for patients and staff, and ensure that our community health centers regain the credibility required for persons to go there before they go to a hospital.
According to Minister Tufton, the objective is to restore health centers as a source of pride and for citizens to expect and experience improved customer service. Meanwhile, the second component of Operation Refresh will be driven by community health aides. Dr. Tufton says these 2,200 workers in the system are usually the first public health point of contact at the community and home levels.
We are redefining the scope and the job definition of our community health aides as part of compensation review, and you will see community health aides being more active and present at the community level.
The reform process will include more home visits and support to senior citizens and pregnant mothers, as well as conducting screening and giving basic psychosocial support. This will all be done under the supervision of a public health nurse.
That combined, Mr. Speaker, we believe will help to close the gap between the road to transformation, the building out of hospitals, the building out of health centers, the digitization, the diagnostic. The people will have to pull all of that together to get a mindset change and to get a more responsive public. That's the plan. And we believe it is a plan that is entirely possible and that this government is committed to carrying through to its completion.
Still in Parliament, the Health Minister also announced that further improvements will take place in the primary healthcare system following Cabinet's approval of a new reform model. Minister Tufton says the process will see 370 more doctors being employed in the system, enabling persons to access more curative services at health centers.
The new system will address a number of issues divided into community, district, and comprehensive health centers It will look at not just health promotion and education, but screening, prevention and treatment, routine medical, special clinics for adolescent, elderly, men's and women's health, rehabilitative and palliative care, ophthalmology, and audiometric screening. In other words, our health centers are going to be positioned in a manner that will give them greater value for the people in the communities where they are.
Still on health, a scholarship fund of $2.5 billion has been established for Jamaicans pursuing studies in various areas within healthcare. This is being made possible through the Dr. Barry Wint Memorial Scholarship and Development Fund over 5 years. The projected start date is September 2024, and it is open to graduate and postgraduate students, as well as those still pursuing their studies. The areas of studies include nursing, medicine, public health, medical technology, and epidemiology. There is also health records management, hospital or healthcare management, information systems for health, pharmacy, dentistry, and health economics. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says this is one of the strategies to train and retain healthcare workers. Information will be available on the ministry's website by July, and persons who are successful will be bonded to work within the public health system for a period.
Unfortunately, we can't just recruit. We have to now take a vested interest in training and retraining. And so what the ministry is saying, we can't build hospitals and have nobody to put in them. And that is likely to happen. It happens in other jurisdictions. We can't be buying diagnostic equipment, digitizing, and have no one to operate them. We can't not have people who can do the analytics. In other words, take the data and analyze it, health economics, in order to tailor our response to the population. And so this scholarship is intended to solve that problem.
The Ministry of Health will also explore overseas clinical rotations and remote faculties for expanded training in the areas being offered through the scholarship. Additionally, flexi contract arrangements are being explored for healthcare practitioners to work part-time in Jamaica and other jurisdictions. According to Minister Tufton, as the training increases, the ministry will take on a wider and more aggressive recruitment strategy. This will include non-traditional jurisdictions in order to fill shortages in specialized areas.
I want to use the opportunity, given this $500 million a year for 5 years scholarship, to appeal to our training institutions, not just the UWI, we have many others, for them to take some time to adjust where necessary the approach to training. Come talk to us. We have started that conversation. But we are going to have to find ways and creative ways to get more people, more human resources in the system who has the transformation mindset. That right now is the big missing link to truly transform.
In other news, Jamaica's inflation target will remain at 4 to 6% for the next 3 fiscal years. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark made the announcement at Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. He says the inflation target, which has been in effect since the 2017-2018 financial year, was agreed upon recently following consultations with the Bank of Jamaica. Minister Clark says the target is consistent with Jamaica's economic structure and stage of development.
A lower inflation target than what currently obtains would require higher interest rates for longer, which could be detrimental to growth and to fiscal dynamics. Furthermore, Jamaica's recent experience has highlighted that there are constraints to targeting a lower inflation rate at this time. In particular, the frequency of economic shocks, labor market rigidities, low productivity, a weak monetary transmission system, and regulated price adjustments constrain the ability of the Bank of Jamaica to deliver a lower inflation rate than what is currently targeted in the near term.
Inflation is the measure of prices of consumer goods. It's calculated over a 12-month period and measures the fluctuations in the Consumer Price Index, which is monitored by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin. As of April 2024, the inflation rate stands at 5.6%. The Ministry of Justice is making an appeal for more persons to serve as mentors within its child diversion branch. Director of the unit, Vanessa Clark, gave the call at a JIS think tank recently. Ms. Clark expresses the importance of positive influence through mentorship in helping to steer children within the program onto a better path.
We have a lot of Jamaicans who have volunteered their time to just give, positive feedback, positive influence to these young people that are in the program. So often we find young people just walking around. If it's not, some might not leave their communities any at all. They don't know what the outside world looks like, so they don't have that opportunity to maybe speak to someone who owns a business to say, this is what it looks like.
Ms. Clark notes that interested persons must be upstanding Jamaicans over age 18 years who are of demonstrably good character.
Since the skill sets don't matter because children have different interests. So you might be a coach, and you might coach football, for example. The child that you are assigned to might be interested in sports. So, different skill sets, we place them according to those or depending on the need of the child.
Persons who wish to apply to be mentors may access applications on the ministry's website at www.moj.gov.jm or at any of the 14 parish offices. And finally, the community of Castleton in St. Mary is the latest to benefit from the Universal Service Fund USF's public Wi-Fi initiative. The service was launched in the community on Friday with Member of Parliament Dr. Norman Dunn. Dr. Dunn says the build-out of internet connectivity across the island has come a far way over the past 7 years.
I want to say we are very grateful for this investment here today. An investment that will mean a lot to the citizens of Castleton and the students in particular who has to use the facility.
The connectivity also provides a sense of security.
So if you have the access to the Wi-Fi, you can always connect your cameras and then you provide a better sense of security in your community. Because if persons know that somebody is watching, they take what? Less risk.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
It's a seasonal task, but with that seasonal task, it becomes a lifetime responsibility. Even when you're out of the parenthood in terms of the personal responsibility of the upbringing of that child, you're going to have the task of guiding that child into manhood or into adulthood. And I believe that that experience in taking the child through school, life itself is a school. So your process as a parent is a continuous one up until death.
Both adults and children may experience tightened muscles that prevent normal fluid movement. Are you or do you know a child experiencing this? We'll share with you just what the condition might be and how it can be prevented.
A mother or father's wish for his or her child. That he or she is happy, healthy, able, and will achieve his or her full potential. Even in the face of disabilities, these aspirations are affirmed with extra care and the outpouring of love in support of children with special needs. And the children themselves, some not able to freely move due to a condition known as spasticity, have strong faith in their abilities. Spasticity or muscle toning is a type of muscle stiffness seen in children with neurological conditions such as cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy is a name that describes a group of conditions where there's injury to the brain, the developing brain that occurs during pregnancy, in utero, at the time of delivery, or up until 3 years old. And it affects a part of the brain that controls movement, the motor section.
With the varying degrees of cerebral palsy, some children may have issues with comprehension or understanding. Others have seizures and problems talking, swallowing, hearing, or seeing. Despite the struggles, the possibilities are bright for children living in Jamaica with this and other conditions that affect the ability to walk. Medical interventions are now allowing some disabled children to walk for the first time and for others to walk better, ultimately having an improved quality of life.
I think what we have brought is a comprehensive approach to addressing the problem, where all the medical professionals, including nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, the surgeons, the rehabilitation and specialists and physiatrists, and the neurosurgeons and neurologists have come together, working with the hospital, working with the pharmacists to try and solve the problems of each child individually. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. So for example, in my specialties, some of them may need a surgical procedure on the lower back, which we call a dorsal rhizotomy, where we will resect some of the nerve or divide some of the nerves to allow them to move the legs more freely.
Other options for treatment include injecting the muscles or around the nerves with medication that decrease muscle tone or muscle stiffness. These medications include phenol or botulinum toxin type A, Botox. Specialist teams at the Bustamante Hospital for Children and the University Hospital of the West Indies, along with partners from overseas, have been pioneering treatments for these children.
The children are assessed. They're assessed by the physiatrists, they're assessed by the physiotherapists, and a diagnosis is made, and then a particular treatment is prescribed that's tailor-made for that child's disability.
Assistive aids such as braces, walkers, and other orthotic devices provide important support to children dealing with spasticity and the pain or discomfort it causes.
It's important for children with movement problems to be positioned properly. Without good positioning, the stiffness can pull the joints out of alignment. And so when they're very early, we put them in what we call braces or orthotics. And these orthotics will maintain a proper alignment of the joint, preventing the ankles from being deformed, preventing the fingers from being deformed.
The braces help with standing, balance, and overall mobility.
If you start from toe upwards, you have what we call ankle-foot orthosis. AFO is the quick acronym. You have orthosis or braces that includes the knee, ankle-foot orthosis that allows for stability. You have some that we use at the hip to keep the hip apart. We use some at the elbows as well, or the wrists, so wrist orthosis. Some patients may require spine orthosis. Those are not usually used in the neuromuscular children, meaning the children with cerebral palsy and weakness. And if they are able to stand and balance, they get walkers to ambulate or wheelchairs so the parents and caregivers can carry them around comfortably.
There are several risk factors for cerebral palsy.
The risk factors include poor antenatal care. It also includes children that are born very young, premature delivery, less than 28 weeks, because the brain is very delicate, and any changes in oxygenation can affect the brain. Low birth weight as well, when children are born very low. Different types of infections can cause it.
And even after delivery, there's the risk from head injury and infections such as meningitis and jaundice, among other things. Doctors say the risk of developing cerebral palsy can be minimized.
Parents need to know that you must have proper antenatal care, proper enough to take the pregnancy to full term, to 40 weeks, so the child's brain and body and blood vessels can develop properly. In addition to that, good health care condition for the mother, and delivery, safe delivery is always important, and postnatally, meaning after they're delivered, is to ensure that the children are healthy, they get their vaccinations, they're not exposed to any infection, there's no trauma to the brain, environment is safe, so you don't have exposure to chemicals that can also cause it, or to accidents or near drowning and stuff like that.
Children's exposure to toxic chemicals such as paints with lead in them, herbicides, pesticides, or household chemicals with pungent odors, either ingested or inhaled, can cause brain damage and must be avoided. Our best option for good health is always prevention, but that aside, effective curative measures offer hope and great joy.
We do have children walking who weren't able to walk before. We do have children sitting who couldn't sit before. I had a patient once where the legs were crossed, scissored we call it, where the legs were scissored at the hips, and the mother wasn't able to clean her properly or carry her. So when she used to carry her in the front. So we injected between the legs and she came back. She was very happy. I'm like, why are you so happy? She's like, me can lap her now. I said, what do you mean by that? Because we injected between the legs, she could open the legs, so she could now carry her on the side, one foot in the front, one in the back, and a bag.
We hear of another story from Aunt Avia, who cares for her nephew Emilio.
His name is Emilio Morris. He's 12 years old. At one point, his foot was like turning like this. So now the car seat at the Bustamante, it said come back around straight. So now he's wearing a braces. At one point he used to creep, but now he doesn't creep. At one point his knee was very tight, but now it's not so tight. Things kind of better now, being that him get the injection. He used to get fizzy. They want him to stand up in the brace.
Kenil Baker is 13 years old. He was born with cerebral palsy, low motor skills. Basically, he cannot walk without assistance.
We have been coming to this clinic for some time now, where he has gotten injections and has done a surgery, which has helped him tremendously. He could not lay on his stomach. After the surgery, he was able to lay on his stomach and turn over, roll over. He is able to stretch out his hands and legs. And for bathing him, it has been made much easier for caring for him. He could not feed himself. He's trying to feed himself now. Well, you can leave him with food and he will feed himself. He's a very happy child. And we have good support from family and friends. And thank God we do. He's our joy. He's our joy.
Love might just be a four-letter word, but it means a lot to persons who handle it with care. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy and it does not boast. Love is caring. Love is sharing. Love is something that makes you feel happy. Love is both a feeling and an emotion. I might not love you as I should, but I love you more than any other human could.
Being a mother is a blessing to mankind. Imagine seeing the face of your little one for the very first time. I can only imagine the joy you must feel inside. Let's hear from a first-time mom as she recounts the moment she held her precious child wrapped in love and tender care.
Kapoor, mother of Liam Barrett. When I found out I was pregnant, I wasn't at all excited because I was in my final year at university. But I don't believe in abortion, and I decided that even though it's going to be a hard task, I had family and friends and I had a wonderful support system behind me. So I decided that even though it wasn't my plan for me right now, I just had to do it. Preparation for Liam. I don't know nothing about having a child or raising a child, so not even nursery rhymes I didn't know. I had to do my research, learn nursery rhymes, and while he was in the tummy, when he was more active than he was supposed to be, I just sing those nursery rhymes to him and it would kind of soothe him down. And even now, when he's here, when he's sick or when he's uneasy, I can always sing back those nursery rhymes to him, and he's okay. While pregnant, I went to the beach and it works now because he loves water and he loves going to the beach. So I did small things to kind of wean him into this life. The transition, it was rough because a lot of persons had high expectations for me. A lot of persons wanted me to finish college before I ventured into, motherhood. But in my opinion, God always knows what he's doing, in my opinion. And it was rough. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of persons who I thought were going to be behind me. Being a mother, it is a task. It is very stressful. Sometimes you honestly feel like you're going crazy, and other times you just want to hold your son and hug him up and tell him how much you love him. Right now, Liam can't talk. I wish I could understand baby language, that's all. Sometimes when he's hurting or when he's in pain, I can't really understand that, so I wish I could, understand baby language. Motherhood is basically giving up yourself for the sake of your son, because you have to know, you have this whole new individual. You have to teach him how to be a man. You have to teach him right from wrong. You have to nurture him, care for him. Sometimes people say it takes a village to raise a child, but when the village is asleep, it's you as a mother. You're the only one that's there up with him in the nights. Patience. One of the major lessons I've learned since being a mother is patience. It takes a lot of patience to raise a child, and some persons might think that once you become a mother you automatically know everything, but no, you have to understand that, or you have to be open to the fact that you're going to be a student and a teacher at the same time. He's going to learn from me and I'm going to learn from him, and that's how it goes. To be honest, motherhood changed me 100%, because in my opinion I was on a downward spiral. I was partying, I was drinking, I was doing everything that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And when I found out that I was pregnant, all of that changed, because now, as I said before, you have to be raising and nurturing somebody else. You have to be caring for somebody else. And I didn't want to put my son's life in jeopardy. What am I looking forward to the most as Liam grows older? I'm hoping he would be just like his father, or even my father. That's all I want out of him, because his father is an amazing person and I just want him to follow in that footsteps. I just wish Liam continued to be our saving grace. Last year I lost my brother, and Liam for us has been that glue holding the family together. So I just wish he knows how much we love him and knows how much he means to us. And I wish he continued to grow into this amazing, amazing, amazing baby boy. Yeah. My advice for other expectant mothers is, do not think it is easy. Do not think motherhood is a walk in the park. It is not. You're going to need a lot of support. You're going to need friends. You're going to need your family behind you 100%. And you're going to need the stability of finances. So I just want to ensure that they have a foundation before they even consider getting pregnant, or even if it happens, to just ensure that you take it one step at a time, because it's not a walk in the park.
This is where we close the pages on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us again tomorrow at the same time on this same station for another program that's packaged just for you. Until then, visit our website, gis.gov.jm, for this and more offerings. On behalf of the entire production team at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you that children are the world's most valuable assets and its best hope for the future. And to our educators, do have a happy Teachers' Day. From all of us here at the GIS, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.